Cowboys, Buccaneers, Sunday Night Football, and Dallas bounces back after losing to the Giants last week. Dallas gets their 12th victory of the season, 26-20. Dak Prescott, pretty good day. Look at the efficiency. 32 of 36, 279 yards through the air, did rush for a touchdown. Dez Bryant, 8 grabs, 82 yards. Ezekiel Elliott ran wild, a $159 in the score on 23 carries. Prescott's counterpart, Jameis Winston, 17 of 35, 247 yards through the air, 2 touchdowns and 3 picks. The Cowboys now 12-2. They do hold a 2-game lead over the second-place Giants in that NFC East. Meanwhile, tough loss for the Tampa Bay Bucs. They fall to 8-6, a full game behind the Falcons in the NFC South. And Dak Prescott silencing all those critics after last week's loss to the Giants. You see LeBron with the shh sound. So there was some talk about the way Dak had been playing the last couple of weeks in those road games. Maybe we should consider bringing Tony Romo back. But after the performance from Dak tonight, I think folks should just relax on that. This should be Dak's team for the rest of the regular season, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it should be. I felt that way midway through the season because he was very, very consistent. And for a guy to lose his second game in the season.
By 3 points.
By 3 points. And for people to rumble and say, oh, it's time for Tony Romo, cut that out. And I think most importantly, if Jerry Jones was to say, this is Dak Prescott's team here on out,
right,
we wouldn't have these issues about the assumption, well, will Tony Romo jump into the lineup? So, of course, with Jerry Jones kind of harping on, he saying things like he expects to see Tony Romo be a part of this team before the season is out, that gives the analysts and the media an opportunity, if they have a slip up, they lose a ball game, to say, wait, it's Tony Romo time.
What did you think about Ezekiel Elliott tonight? $159. Did you like him jumping in the Salvation Army kettle?
Of course, the letter of the rule book basically says that's a penalty. He did get a penalty. But he really put a nice spotlight on the Salvation Army.
Okay.
So, of course, that was a great endorsement for them and what they consistently do year in and year out, to be right there, have that, I don't know if it was a bucket or whatever it was supposed to be for him to jump in, because all you saw was the Salvation Army logo on that bucket.
Right.
So that was a great, great marketing campaign that was not planned by Ezekiel Elliott. But outside of that, you know, he got a fine. He probably will receive he got a penalty and he will receive a fine probably.
Let's take a look at the playoff picture. Of course, the Cowboys 12-2. The Giants still right on their heels at 10-4. But the Giants do hold the tiebreaker because they swept the Cowboys this season. The Cowboys' final 2 games of the regular season, B-Mac, Lions and Eagles. So if the Cowboys win 1, then they do clinch the division. Your take on whether the Cowboys might be able to lock up that NFC East by beating the Lions?
I mean, every week the Cowboys are in very, very difficult ball games, because last week, of course, that was a divisional team that had already beat them, and they wanted to create more separation. Now, next week, you got the Detroit Lions coming into your place, a team that's trying to lock up their division and take and continue to keep Green Bay Packers in their rear view. And the same can be said for the Cowboys, because if you lose next week, you do not want the last ball game to dictate if you will win the division and have a home playoff game, or lose the division and be on the road week 1 in the playoffs.
That's a big difference.
Think about that.
Big difference.
So this is the most important ball game of the Cowboys 2016 season, Clement, because with the blink of an eye, a 4-quarter game, you can go from the number 1 seed in the NFC to being in a wild card position. That will be a big disappointment.
And certainly the Lions will be fired up after they took an L today to the New York Giants. So let's flip over, though, to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They have the Saints and they have the Panthers. Do you feel confident that Tampa Bay will be able to get into the playoffs when you look at those 2 opponents, 2 division opponents?
No, I don't feel confident. Reason being is because this was a big-time loss. And the Green Bay Packers, that's a very, very scary ball club. They're right there. The Washington Redskins playing some good football. I expect to see the Redskins take care of their business tomorrow night against the Carolina Panthers. And the Giants, worst case scenario for the Giants, they will have a wild card spot, in my opinion. So this loss puts a lot of pressure on Tampa, and you have to travel to New Orleans. New Orleans has been a low-key, sneaky good team, especially at home. So you don't know what can happen against that New Orleans Saints. And, Drew Brees in the Mercedes Superdome is,
Oh, yeah.
you know what he can do. And it was a close game a few weeks ago in Tampa when New Orleans traveled to Tampa. So I think this loss right here tonight, I hope I'm wrong, but this could have took all the air out of their playoff chances.
So the Bucs' 5-game winning streak comes to an end. During that 5-game winning streak, the defense had been the difference for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So kind of uncharacteristic tonight for Tampa Bay, allowing 23 points, and that was one of the reasons
26.
they were not 26 points, 26-20, and if they took the